Bella Ulrich, and you are listening to the Movie Raid Show.
It's time for the Movie Raid, and tonight's victim is actress Bella Ulrich, as played in Box. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. So what have we been up to lately? Any new projects that we can check out?
There's nothing currently in the works because we're in quarantine, but most recently I filmed a commercial for Universal Studios. It was for the ride called Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike, and it's yet to be released because it was right before everything was shut down.
Did it take quite a bit of time to lead up to that, or was it based on any kind of experiences with, in terms of your voice or even appearance on camera?
From my talent agent, I actually went to a audition for another Universal commercial, and the director there called me and my dad back for this one instead.
Of course, it's exciting, but having to start this as a part of your career, and especially at this age, how does that really work for you? Was it restrictive for you, or did you feel pretty confident of where this is going for you?
I feel pretty confident in where this is going for me because the older you get, the more likely you're to be casted for things because you can work longer hours.
A modeling experience as well, collaborating with experiences with modeling and actually having to act in like Box and so forth. How do you make these crafts actually represent as a whole without giving a false judgment, actually giving the audience, making it look fake, so to speak?
Well, modeling and acting actually intertwine together because in both you have to represent yourself.
When working with like Box especially, how did you work with these two as a whole, having to give that kind of representation to the audience that this is not one or the other?
Well, as a character, I took that role and just made it myself in a way.
And can you tell us a little bit about your role as this character in Box? This was, in fact, Jimmy Dempster's brainchild, so to speak. At least a big part of it was, and of course he acted in it.
Well, my character was the party girl, not in that sort of way, but it was supposed to be my birthday party. But actually, there's another scene that my quote-unquote character was in that was actually, well, Mr. Jimmy's daughter, Emma. We're actually best friends, and she was the one who was crawling out of the box in that scene.
Now, how did your parents actually accept that? This is a dark film, or at least to an extent to it, and especially at this age. Well, were they pretty cool with that to allow you to do that, or did they have any specific special requests for you to perform in this movie, even though that this is the kind of, not a huge role, but having to be in it in general?
Well, my parents were pretty cool with it because I didn't see many of the scary elements, and they more just told me what to do, and they didn't involve me in any of the graphic details. Actually, when I was getting quote-unquote run over with the car, they just said to take the mask off, look up, and then the car would stop, I'd say 3 feet away from me, and then they just told me to go lay in the back.
How do you feel about taking these kind of directions, especially in a film like this? Do you feel pretty open about this, or do you feel like you like to go to your own way, try to make your own character on your own, kind of like the lone wolf?
I feel pretty good taking these directions. I'm pretty open about it. Of course, when you get a character, you'd like to interpret it as your own and add a few things, but taking directions like this, it was pretty easy. The only part that I didn't like was when I was laying in the back of the car, I got around 15 different bug bites all around my body.
Now, putting yourself in a dark negative element like Box, how do you make a positive out of the situation in terms of the performance?
Well, you have to think about your actions and how your actions have consequences, like how my character wasn't paying attention and she just kind of ran into the middle of the road just to get her toy.
What did you take as far as positive and negative in terms of that? Did you feel positive the fact that you can make this character really live, make it alive, or did you think there was some kind of negative, or did you actually use that to your advantage?
I feel like I made the character come alive because I feel like in a way she's very similar to me, because every time when I would have a birthday party, I'd always love to go swimming, and I don't believe that there was any really negative about this character.
Do you want to make more characters like this, or what kind of types of characters would you actually like to more explore, or actually make your own, or even would you even consider other opportunities like maybe directing or anything else in the future?
Well, I would of course love to experiment with other characters just to get the feel of it, but I'm definitely okay with getting another character like this. I feel like in the future I'd like to continue to be a lead actor or just an actor in general, but I feel like directing would still be a fun experience, how it feels to be a director, and you can reflect that experience onto your acting.
Well, what would you say you think is the most challenging part about trying to get a character out there, or what would you say would be the hardest to perform your next character that you would like to be interested in?
The hardest part would be to get an audience and get people to actually like it. And also just finding a way to get to be that character, because getting cast for a movie is a pretty difficult process. You'll get a lot more no's than you will yeses.
I tend to try to get more yeses than no's. Would you just say that's just a part of the territory, or would you just try to compromise for that?
There's not really compromise for that, because every time when they're casting someone, they have a specific idea in mind. And if you don't fit that role, that's okay. But you can always make sure to improve yourself. So maybe if they have that idea in mind, you could maybe fit yourself to that idea, then you could get cast.
Which actual genre do you think that you would fit the most that would actually play out for your career? Or would you rather just try them all and just see where it goes out? Or do you have a specific goal?
I think I'd like to just try them all and see where it goes, because I really like horror, but I could get more cast in roles that are like funny movies. I feel like comedy would be the best, just because I'm always the person in my family, and sometimes I feel like I'm just a comedic relief because I love to crack jokes and always get the tension in the air lifted. But I feel like the thing that I would want to be the most is probably comedy.
Do you have other goals, having to go for the networks, or is that your main drive for that? Or would you like to actually experience more of indie filmmaking and, of course, other larger studios? Would you rather go to television or cartoons, or especially working for Disney or Universal especially?
Oh, I would love to work for Disney or Universal. I would love to do a lot of real acting, like person on camera. But I feel like being a voice actor in an animated cartoon would also be tons of fun, because I would love to be in like a children's cartoon.
And when Box came out and the reaction of Box, did this help you further understand more about the acting? Did this help you in different ways for your acting?
It definitely taught me how long production takes and how long it can take a movie to really just shoot off, because it started getting super big 2 years ago, and around that time I was around 10.
Would you actually divide your time between the two, between having a life outside of it, or would you actually fully dedicate your life to film, even though it is a very, very rough, tough business, especially learning the business based off this one film? How do you feel the reaction in terms of that?
I feel like I still have to balance out my life, because I'm still pretty young, and I still have to balance film and acting with my school career.
How do you feel about judgment when they see you in something, a dark film, especially your friends who might be slightly younger than you or actually equal age? How do they feel when you're performing in this, or even adults see you in this type of thing? Do you take judgment a little bit harsher, or would you accept for what it is and still be proud of what you've done with this project?
I feel like if I would ever get judgment, I would take it and use it to critique my acting. But actually, at my school, we have superlatives, and a lot of people know me for my modeling and for my acting, and I got the superlative most likely to be famous. You can't stop them from giving you their opinions. You can only take that and grow from it. That's why you need a good support team and people that you can always talk to. I would share and promote positivity on Instagram and other forms of social media, because there's a lot of negative people in this world, but you always need to spread positivity and promote it.
As an actress, what do you think is okay to take and actually give as an artist? What would you take as an actor, and what would you actually give back to either the public or in general?
Just sharing my experiences and just remembering to promote positivity, because it's just very important to remember that. To promote positivity in my own life, I do a lot of reading, and I've also been taking self-defense classes. Those are just a few things that I use always to be happy, because exercise is something that actually has tons of benefits. One of them is having a good and clear mindset.
What do you think is your responsibility right now, aside from going to school, of course? That's always important.
Helping others, because at this age, there is actually quite a lot you can do. You can always volunteer. And my generation, we're very influenced by social media, but one thing that I can do is just spread positivity on social media and make posts about how to love yourself and how you always need to be kind to others.
Do you feel like this is something for yourself, or do you feel that you are 1,000,000% nothing but positive, and that this is almost like a life goal, but also to use acting, to use it as a tool as well?
I'd like to use acting as a tool, because to spread positivity, because the more you act, the more of a fan base you can get, and the more people that you can reach.
Go ahead and plug in any websites or anything that we can check out right now, or anything that you also would like to add.
In September, I'm going to be walking for Mark to Sing in New York Fashion Week, and I'm super excited for that. You can see Box on YouTube on Kings of Horror, which is the YouTube channel it's on. And you can find me on Instagram. It is Bella_Ulrich_official.
There you have it, everybody. That is actress Bella Ulrich.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun doing this.